Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode 117 of Fringe Fanatics.
Is it 116 or 117?
It's
Did we not
117.
update it?
We didn't update it.
Oh, that's what it is. All right.
117 of Fringe Fanatics. This is it's been a rip-roaring week, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chris Zane.
I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, we have a lot of stuff happening. We know who's going to the Super Bowl, and dag nabbit, the Chiefs are there again.
Yeah, damn right.
Boo! And the Eagles, boo! I just want somebody else. That's all I'm saying. Shake it up a little bit. Yeah, no.
I wanted the Commanders really bad.
Yeah,
I really
you did.
Yeah,
an easy Super Bowl. But so we know who's in the Super Bowl. The trade deadline in the NBA is coming up. There's a lot of news there with the NBA. People want to be traded, and they're making it known. Big trades in the NHL. The NHL trade deadline is also approaching as well. But big news in the NFL. Tons of coaching hires. Lots of stuff to talk about.
Coaching carousel.
Coaching carousel continues.
Oh, that would have been cool to get like a soundbite for a carousel.
I don't even know what a sound bite for a carousel would be.
Like the circus, like something like that. Yeah, let's do it with our mouths.
Yeah, there you go. We don't need sound bites, dude.
We got him, man. We got a lead singer here.
Yeah, but we're here. It's episode 117. We are ready to rock and or roll.
We got a guest coming on.
We got a guest coming on talking about one of the biggest trades in Avalanche history, I think, in terms of outgoing. It's huge.
Yep.
Lots to talk about there. Big news as also Mr. Ovechkin creeps ever so close.
I tried to check. Did he score another one?
He's getting there. He's
still 20 away or
20 away.
Okay,
so
20 away. All right.
He's getting there. But
nice.
Lots of stuff to talk about today. But let's get into it. How was your week, Chad?
It was great. Yeah, It was a good weekend.
Look at him. He's sitting down.
Sitting down. The back is feeling better. Yeah. I'm glad, dude. That sucked.
It really does. I was telling the guys when my back went out, I was like, I get how people just kind of are like if they told me like this is how the next 5 years of your life is going to be, I could see how people are like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna take a flight out of here, if you know what I mean. Man,
seriously. Oh yeah, it was awful. Like just army crawling everywhere and stuff. She joked around with me. She'll be glad I mentioned this. She out of nowhere. It was like after the second day when we got like a roller chair that's in the front room, and it was like I think the first day when I had to go to the bathroom, and she rolled that in there for me to be able to use to lean on because it was I could not put any weight on my leg, or I dropped like a sack of potatoos. So a couple hours later, I just get this random text, and it's an Amazon link to a walker. like order it, fucking I need it. It's bad, but I feel better. Friday night, dude, we stayed in, got Jersey Mike's, watched the movies. We watched the new Sonic movie.
How was it?
It was hilarious.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's good.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh man, they're great. They're really funny.
Those one of those ones where you look at it and you're like, that could be hit or miss. It's
either gonna be decent, funny, man.
Or it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
That's good.
Get nice and inebriated for it. Jim. Yeah, they've definitely kind of started once they get into so many sequels, they start to beat a dead horse. So they've kind of done that. They've no spoiler alert, whatever for the kids out there. What Dr. Robotnik isn't going to be in the new ones. They finally killed that character off.
Well, Jim Carrey doesn't need money anymore.
Yeah, that was a great statement he made by that. Saturday, it just snowed a lot. Yep, we got lots of snow. Went out there and I was pretty envious of my neighbor that has snowblower. I got a pretty good workout from shoveling snow.
Put that back. That newly really returned back to work.
It was the first test. I was like, because it was like maybe last week, whenever the first days, I was like pent up or whatever, bedridden. She had to go snow shovel for me, and it was one of the most emasculating days of my life. Like, I don't want that to ever happen.
Yeah.
Like I got neighbors and stuff where the wife or the ladies out there mowing the lawn and stuff. I'm like, more power to you. That's what you want to do. Cool. But not in my household.
Yeah.
But, so I was like, not today. I'm going to go out there, got it done.
Not today, Junior.
I put the Nuggets game on during the Timberwolves while I was doing that, listening to it. Got really pissed off, so it was good motivation for shoveling snow.
Yeah.
Yep. Then the Jayhawks lost in double overtime later, And the way I looked at it, that's kind of how I started to feel good about the Chiefs game, because I was like, if you're going to make a parlay, and I needed the Jayhawks to win, I wanted the Nuggets to win, and the Chiefs. That's a 3-leg parlay. All of them was kind of like
that
coin
last
flips.
leg.
And those two, because you can't hit all three. That's never going to happen. Like it's a, even though it's not like you're making the parlay, you want those teams to win. So it's like an imaginary parlay. So with 2 or 3 losing, I was like, all right, I got a good shot, and it worked out. But then, of course, Sunday we went to Don's and had a great time.
Yeah,
I was trying not to come on here and be the insufferable Nick Wright, just wearing my.
Speaking of
I
which,
need to get a Louis Vuitton fleece. Man.
It would help so much if that guy wasn't just insufferable in and of himself, but like his personality is insufferable.
That's his whole stick.
Yeah,
It's like he's the Stephen A. of Fox.
Yeah, I can't even take what he says with any grain of salt unless it's about the Chiefs, because that's the only thing he cares about. Anything else, I'm just like biased because it doesn't matter, because it has nothing to do with Chiefs.
He actually did defend the Bills and Sean McDermott. He brought up some good points for that. But I rarely watch it just because it's nuts. But yeah, I mean, because I like to watch objective sports analysts.
That's my thing. It's like you're not even objective.
A little too hard on it.
Same with Stephen A.
If I want about it. Only Chiefs, I listen to Arrowhead Pride. That podcast. Those guys are really good. I used to listen to Locked On Chiefs, but I can't do that anymore. Those guys were bothering me. But we had a great time. A lot of good people came out to Don's, and it was packed. And it was just a blast, man. We got a bunch of Cosmos pizza. It was fun.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yep.
I did not enjoy watching that game.
I bet not.
God damn it.
Yep.
Here we go again. Saturday, also very bummed because 2 of my teams lost before 2 o'clock.
Avs,
Avs and the Nuggets both lost their early Sunday game, so that wasn't very exciting.
That was rough.
But what are you gonna do? It is what it is.
Man, it's like Minnesota really is the kryptonite for the Nuggets for some reason.
They just know how to get under their skin.
They play hard. I mean, they put up more points in the first half than they had all season. I was like,
yeah,
it's game over.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
70.
But yeah, Sunday, Merrill was sick. We both kind of been dealing. It's like a chest infection. I don't know. Since like Thursday, I've been coughing and sneezing, and like I've got stuff in there that I'm like coughing out. I don't like feel terrible, but Sunday night I was up all at night coughing and stuff, and then I didn't go to work on Monday. But yeah, Sunday she was sick, and then I went over to my parents and watched the first game, and then I went home, watched the second game. But yeah, it's kind of a laid back weekend, just kind of taking it easy.
Yeah,
not too much. We've been watching a lot of The Silo.
Oh, nice. Had I already told you that we started watching?
I think you did, and then Andrew told me about it, and I was like, all right, we got to start watching it.
We just finished, I think, episode 3 the other day, and it just keeps getting better.
I don't even know where we're at. We're like episode 6 or 7.
Okay,
I don't even know. We've been cruising along.
First, you're feeling better?
Yeah, no,
good.
I feel good.
Awesome.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't
I'm just
seem to have
hacking
any
stuff up, and that's the only shitty part.
But
other than that, it really is.
But yeah, dude, Tim Robbins. He's a good part in that show. And then the lady that becomes the sheriff, you know where she's from?
I don't.
Dune. She was Timothée Chalamet's mom.
Oh, okay.
The Mother Superior.
I still need to watch the second Dune. We're behind. We're still behind.
But and then she split in a few other stuff. But it's got a really good cast.
It is. It's one of the few shows that like my ADHD brain can just turn off and actually watch. Like I don't have my phone out hardly ever. I'm just like, oh shit, that's crazy.
That's the same way. I was like that. So since you've made it past it, that episode where they had to fix the generator or whatever the hell it was.
That was nuts.
Dude, I was on the edge of my seat.
They're gonna die!
Oh no, man. I was like, just get it fixed. It was nuts because the thing is just spinning so fast.
Yeah.
What's so nuts is like you don't even know why they're underground. That's what's kind of cool about it. Remember that movie, The Road? I know you saw Viggo Mortensen. You never found out why the apocalypse happened. I like stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool. Leave it up to
and that is kind of the cool thing.
Maybe
waiting.
you find out. I don't know.
Yeah. I keep waiting for a flashback to the original sheriff.
Yeah.
I'm like, something happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this much. Episode 6, 7, Still don't know that yet.
Damn. All right, cool.
But yeah, also we have, I think this is the second week we've done it, but we started, this is a shameless plug in hopes that we can get sponsored. We started doing a meal delivery service called Cook Unity. It's pretty cool. They just deliver you, we get like 8 right now, which is nice. Cause like, especially nights like Monday and Tuesday when I go work, practice, work, podcast, I get home at like 8:30 ish sometimes. You know, it's nice to just have like an easy meal to pop in, and they're healthy. They go for all dietary restrictions and all that shit. But they are super good. That is the nice thing about them. And the main reason we got them is because buying groceries for 2 people is extremely hard, especially when it comes to vegetables and stuff. I feel like they don't sell you got to get like, I don't need 8 red peppers, green peppers, you know, bell peppers.
Yeah,
I only need 2 or 3.
Dude, fuck vegetables, man. I don't eat vegetables.
Vegetables, dude, for nerds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nice, because we would do that, like we'd buy shit and then it goes bad in the fridge because you know, you can only cook so much with it. You have one meal in mind,
right? Are those the nights that Meryl's working, is when you're at practice and stuff?
Yeah, so well, it's just so late.
Right.
Like it's like, why cook and it's just easier. And then on Wednesdays when she's working and she gets home late, it's just like, let's just throw something in rather
I've never
than
heard
make
of
a
this.
bunch of dishes. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's Factor. There's another one
kind of like a Green
Tempo.
Chef.
Kind of.
Okay.
But you're not cooking it. This one, it's like supposedly, I don't know how they do this, but it's like local chefs that create these dishes and then send them out.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's pretty nice though.
Sweet.
So at this point, we've been doing that just for like a few meals and sometimes just to take for lunch, you know, because sometimes it sucks with lunch and stuff. I mean, I've still been trying to wait to eat lunch until like afternoon, but you know, it's still nice to just be able to throw something in rather than try.
Oh yeah.
Because any snacks you get, none of them, although they say they're healthy, most of them aren't.
Dude, I switched to my lunches at work. 7 slices. If you ever go to King Soopers, you ever see Old Trapper beef jerky?
Yeah,
it's great because you buy like Jack Links, they're full of sugar. They're shit, and I always feel like awful after eating those. So you get that Old Trapper, it's like local good beef. I do 7 slices of that, and they're rounds, and then a protein bar.
Yeah,
that's it. Because I feel you, dude. You try to like snack on this or that.
It's so hard to you're like, oh, I'll get a breakfast bar. And you look at like, you spend more time trying to find a breakfast bar that isn't full of shit. Yep. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like, oh God. Like, and so it's like, I'm trying to find ways to just make it so I don't have to think so much about it. You know?
It's easy.
Because it's a pain in the ass to do. You're like, oh, like, what are we going to cook tonight that's healthy? And yeah, is it going to go bad? Like, what do we have to cook that's about to go bad? And it's just like,
it's tough.
So, and it is nice because it has cut down a little bit of like our grocery stuff too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
So we're seeing how that goes, but I'm hoping that we can get them to sponsor us and then I can get it for free. You know?
Hell yeah. There you go.
But yeah, other than that, that's about it. You know, that's my weekend. Just been working and stuff.
Yep.
Nice. Other than that.
Well, hell yeah, man. Yeah. Yep, we're almost in February. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Hannah's birthday is this weekend.
Oh man,
gonna take her to Capitol Grill.
Nice.
Yes, I can't wait. Yeah,
good old Capitol Grill.
Yeah, I just booked a couples massage on Saturday up in Brighton or Commerce City because I figure I'm like, well, this will be a birthday present for you, and then I can finally try to get my back taken care of. So win-win.
Is it do they have happy endings?
We'll see if we're in separate rooms.
Well, I mean, hey, you want to talk about the NFL? We got Jerry Jones talking about glory holes. Who knows what's going on anymore?
I saw you wrote that in there. Why? How did he really say the word glory holes?
Yeah, but it's really like an old oil drilling thing. It's like if you struck gold or oil on a hole, that's your glory hole.
Nobody thinks of that when they hear that
when
word.
You're 82 years old, sometimes you throw these sayings out that had a different connotation back in your day, and now it means something entirely different. And
man,
usually though, and what he said was it's not all smiles and glory holes when you're trying to find the right guy, basically, which that sentence in and of itself is wild.
Yeah.
When you break it
he
down.
never thinks about things before he says them.
But yeah, he that's what he was talking about when it came to like, because people are like, well, how can you sit here and say that Brian Schottenheimer is the guy, like when you really didn't even look at
No, they didn't hire anybody.
Yeah, and he's just like, well, it's not all smiles and glory holes when you're.
I mean, if they would have just waited until the end of the season, they could have talked to Kellen Moore, because I guess Kellen Moore really wanted the job.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, and that's
just be patient.
Little prelude there. I picked Kellen Moore as
that's why I brought
my daily dog, because that dude put on a clinic in terms of play calling. He had the Commanders all out of sorts, but it is that time. Let's get into the headlines.
Headlines, get your headlines here.
We got lots of coaches to go over.
Yeah, we got a lot. We're going to fly through the majority of them, but yeah, the NFL is here.
Are you ready for some football?
Well, we were just talking about it. The Cowboys promote offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, aka Shotty.
It's got to be Marty's son, right? Yeah. I figured so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a coaching lineage in his blood. Marty Schottenheimer was his father. But he is hired lacklusterly, would be the best way to put it. Most Cowboys fans are very unhappy with the signing. But Jerry, it was wild. I don't know if you watched this press conference, but at one point he was calling out like the media and everything for saying he never takes chances. And then he points to Brian Schottenheimer and he's like, if you don't think this is taking a chance, then I don't know what is. And it's just like, why would you do that to that guy? Dude? Like...
That's like Shad Khan being on a Zoom call with Trent Baalke, and the reporter asks, if a new head coach wants Trent Baalke fired, are you willing to make that agreement? And he says yes, with him on the Zoom call.
Well, he almost didn't, and that's why, moving on to the next one, Liam Cohen was about to accept the massive deal from the Bucs to become the highest paid OC ever in the NFL. And turns out Shad Khan wasn't lying. He fired Trent Baalke because that was the reason Liam Cohen turned the job down. He says, I don't want to work with that guy.
And that's what
it wasn't the only one either.
There was a lot of coaches that didn't want to work with. I think Mike Vrabel said the same thing.
Yeah. So Trent Baalke was definitely one of the linchpins, so to speak, in terms of what was the main issue there in Jaguar land. But Liam Cohen also had a very strange press conference.
Oh, man. I saw the Duval.
Dude,
and he just looks like a really weird guy.
That's what I was saying.
Does not look like a head coach.
He doesn't look like a head coach. Nobody, dude, honestly, and I don't know why I would know the offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers if I wasn't a Buccaneer fan, let me be honest with you, but I had not heard of Liam Cohen. He's not like a household OC name,
like before,
so to speak. I mean, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I've heard of him, but like, I don't know anything about him. I didn't even know where he came from beforehand. And I think a lot of people are confused too, because it's like, I get why you got
Kentucky
him. Yeah,
he came from.
I get why you went and got him, because he did, kind of turn Baker around this year, and they're hoping that same thing happens with Trevor Lawrence. But he's just a weirdo, dude.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean anything. I mean, he might turn out to be a hell of a coach, but he's a weirdo.
Yeah, and he definitely played the Bucs, man, because he wasn't answering their calls when they're like, "You gonna sign our deal?"
Yeah,
and
he went and took that other one.
The other one.
I mean, according to Schefter, which I know Schefter in Chiefs land is not on good terms, but Schefter said like he's never seen a team that irate over somebody taking another job.
They were
pissed, because they bent over backwards to pay him, and then he was just like, "Nah, I'm gone."
I can't really say I blame him though, because I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, and then one of these analysts, these podcasters listen to, broke it down pretty well. I think it was Connor Orr that was just kind of saying that, like, these assistant head coaches, you never know when the opportunity is going to pass. You got to take it when it's there. I mean, he took Baker. He had 41 touchdowns last year, like 4,500 passing yards or something like that.
Yeah.
You got to take that when it's available, because you never know if he doesn't take this and then he becomes the OC. You never know when, if it doesn't, maybe next year maybe they have a horrible year. And then it doesn't.
And then there goes his chance.
You got to take it whenever it comes.
I don't blame him. It was not the best way to do it, but I also get why. He went, took the interview, wasn't what he wanted. He left. They made it what he wanted, and he went back. And there's the reason why, you know, no team can stop an OC or any sort of coordinator from taking a head coaching job.
Yeah.
They can if it's a lateral move, but they cannot if it is a move up. So really the Bucs,
I guess, and that was part of that big deal was that was a stipulation. He couldn't, if he signed that deal with when they offered him all that money, it said in there that he couldn't take a second interview with the Jags. And so that's why he was like, okay, well, gonna go do that.
Yeah. Ooh, breach of contract if he had.
But we'll see. I doubt. I mean, just knowing how the Jags operate, I don't really think. Watching so much of Trevor Lawrence, I really don't think he's the answer.
I don't either, and it's so crazy for them to like when he came out, like everybody was freaking out, like he's the next guy.
Yep.
He's, you know, Andrew Luck, John Elway, whoever you want to call it.
And that's Trent Baalke.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Pick
we'll
Trayvon
see.
Walker.
Take us to the next one, Chet.
All right. The Jets hired Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn for their head coach. Made the reporters ooh and ah when he said the Jets are built for this shit. That was a weird statement.
It was, and he was getting all revved up, and he's like, when he said it, like all the reporters, like, yeah, like they were all pumped on it, and I don't blame him. I mean, you probably want someone to come in there and say something like that after the last regime.
I mean, look at Dan Campbell. You know, you got to go in there and make a splash.
Yeah, you got to bite kneecaps off. You got to do something, you know, and it worked for Dan Campbell, but we'll see if this ends up working for Mr. Aaron Glenn. Obviously, both Detroit coordinators were the most coveted this offseason, and now they are both head coaches. So,
that's
right.
So far, I've heard reports too that he is willing to bring Aaron Rodgers back if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back.
Yeah, we'll see if the owner's on board with that, because I don't think he is.
I wouldn't be if I was him. I finished that documentary too.
Dude, I still
that was the most cringe thing I'd watch, man. I'd rather watch a car wreck, to be honest.
I just had plenty of those.
Yeah, just had to get through it, just see what's up.
Yeah,
man, that was bad.
All right, well, the next one. The Texans fire offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick and their offensive line coach. Clearly, they were tired of just the amount of sacks and issues they had with the offensive line, and also just the downturn that the offense had as a whole this year.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. They went up and down. The offensive line, they had a lot of injuries. I mean, then on the offensive side of the ball, they had Tank Dell get hurt, Stephon Diggs, but you look at other teams. I mean, look at the Chiefs. You know, we had injuries all across the board, and then nothing, seemed to fall. So, there's teams that can make up for that, and then other teams that just can't.
Yeah, and that was clearly what happened out there in Texans land. The Raiders hire head coach Pete Carroll, and apparently him and Marshawn Lynch have kissed and made up as Marshawn Lynch crashed his press conference and yelled out a big Raiders.
Did you see he didn't even know that was him?
No.
But yeah, I guess I saw.
He was in the back. I saw like a cut of him walking in. He was way at the back.
So apparently he just kind of like looked up and smiled. And then there's another video I saw on Twitter where he was walking into like a tunnel, walking down the hallway, and Marshawn came from behind him and was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "You didn't know that was me?" And he was like, No, you've been here the whole time. And he was like, "Yeah."
He's like, I just thought it was a crazy Raiders person. Yep. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, no, and we could possibly see a reunion of Russell Wilson and Mr. P. Carroll.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude,
it's possible.
How about the Pro Bowl? How about the Pro Bowl?
That's great. Nobody wants to go.
They need just. I think it's now going to be called
honorary,
the Mid Bowl or something.
Yeah, it should just be like you get a something. Give them not a gold jacket. Give them a tank top or something.
So, like some money that they can donate to a charity. Something else, because this is a joke. For the AFC, we got Joe Burrow, who we know he's only going down to Orlando to party. Have fun with all the swimsuit models down there.
Hey, he's got a girlfriend, or he did. I don't know.
That's a worker. That's his assistant. Yep. Which can't say I blame him. Yeah. But then you got Drake May.
He turned it down.
I thought I saw Drake May.
I thought that's why Russell Wilson went, was because he turned it down.
Josh Allen turned it down.
He's hurt.
And then I don't know.
Nix turned it down.
Josh Allen just didn't want. I'm sure he was just I don't want to go.
I think he's hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
His feelings.
Yeah.
But
Probably still sad.
Probably.
So, it's
Bo Nix turned it down because he's getting off-season surgery.
Because of the ribs.
I don't think it was. I don't know what it is. It's cleaning something up.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, Drake May and Russell Wilson, man. That's why we've got plans on Sunday. I was like, there ain't no football there. I'm not about to watch this.
Oh no. I think on Saturday last year I tuned in and there was guys trying to catch as many punts as they could in their hands.
Oh yeah. I remember
there
watching
was
like
there's like a tug of war and like it's just
dude,
dude, who cares?
When is a punt returner gonna try to catch 4 balls? Like this is the dumbest thing ever.
But and then like Quinn Miners, I guess Broncos offensive right guard, they were like, "Hey, do you want to go?" He's like, "Nah, I'll go when I actually get it." He's like, "I'm not gonna go as an alternate. Like, why?"
It's I'm just like,
I guess you don't get the Pro Bowl
recognition.
You're not a Pro Bowler even if you're an alternate and don't go, you're not a Pro Bowler. You have to take the alternate like spot and then you're a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't know if you get like the Pro Bowler connotation.
Either way, it's a joke. But really Pete, dude, let's talk about this. I mean, the AFC West, we got Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning head coach. We got Andy Reid. Enough said. Then we got Jim Harbaugh.
Hasn't won one, been to a
national championship, been to a Super Bowl. Yep, but turned around a lot of programs. And then you got Pete Carroll.
Yep. Super Bowl winning coach.
Unbelievable. And the national championship with college.
Yeah, and he's one of the only few coaches, I think, to
4.
There's 4.
4 head coaches that's won national championship and a Super Bowl.
But yeah, it's a pretty wild thing. The Raiders have a long ways to go because they don't have a quarterback. The rest of the teams, as of right now, do. But we'll see what they end up doing. I do think Shador is probably going to be there for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But, it is kind of interesting because that isn't the type of quarterback that Pete Carroll that really likes to, he wants like a pocket presence types guy. He doesn't really want to
that's why him and Russell.
And, dude, one of these podcasts that I listened to, man, he said it best. He was like, Pete Carroll should just go into the Hall of Fame for the job he did by hiding Russell Wilson this whole time because we see the real Russell Wilson on the Broncos and Steelers.
Did you see? We got to get on our phone call here soon. But did you see him on Pat McAfee?
Who's that? Pete or
no Russell?
No, I didn't.
I guess like he says a lot of his positivity comes from when his dad died. I guess that's where he said the positivity comes from. And like, that's why he was able to get to where he was after his dad died was because of him just being as positive as he is. And you almost are like, I almost feel bad for him. Like I almost get it. But then you hear him talk and you watch his social media and you're like, never mind.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, I mean, whatever.
I've seen more workout hype videos in my life.
His personality, cheesy as hell, the reasonings behind it, I don't care. It's his play. You know, if it wasn't for Marshawn Lynch and the Legion of Boom, they never would have gotten to where they were with him.
Yeah, clearly. We found that out now.
Yeah.
But, what are you going to do? But we are about to get on the phone with Mr. Kyle from the Locked On Avalanche podcast. Kyle Sullivan will be joining us. We're going to talk about the huge trade that happened over this weekend where Mikko Rantanen was shipped out to the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Avalanche got back a couple players and some draft picks. But yeah, it has kind of rocked the NHL world at this point. So we're going to talk to him and see what his thoughts are on it. Let me pull up on the actual trade here.
Yeah, they got Martin Necas.
Is that how you say it?
Necas. Yeah, I was listening to their podcast.
Martin Necas.
Wondering how you spell
Jack
that.
Drury, who's I believe his father was a former. I think Chris Drury was his dad.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and then a couple picks as well.
Yep.
Oh, right here. Jack Drury, 2025 second round pick and a 2026 fourth round pick. And then there's also a trade from Taylor Hall went to the Hurricanes as well. So, but let's get Mr. Kyle Sullivan on the phone. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, Kyle, how's it going, man? Thank you for joining the Fringe Fanatic Sports Podcast. You got Chris here.
And you got Chad Lee. Thanks for joining us, man.
What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. How have you been since the last time we had you on?
Oh, well, absent of Mikko Rantanen, I've been all right.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get into it right away. I mean, obviously, you're a little sad about it. I was definitely bummed when it happened, but are the Avalanche better now than they were a week ago, or have they taken a step back? What's your opinion?
Well, see, this is going to be one of those things that you're never going to get the exact answer until probably the end of the year, because are the Colorado Avalanche better as we talk right now as they're on the ice? Probably no. But are they better in the long term for the rest of the season? Possibly, because Mikko Rantanen, the more this drama comes out, we're going to be watching this for the rest of the year on where the two camps were when it comes to the contract. How were they close? Was he going to take a pay cut? What is a pay cut to Mikko Rantanen's market value? You're going to be hearing numbers until the end of the year, until he signs a new deal. So the Avalanche, basically, they got some talent and didn't let him walk out the door for free, which is understandable. And Mikko Rantanen could go test his talent in a team that doesn't have Cale Makar or Nathan MacKinnon out in Carolina. It's a different ball game. That's also going to affect his value at the end of the year as well. What can he do on his own? He's always been Robin to Nathan MacKinnon's Batman, so his value is really up for grabs, and he's making his own contract in Carolina. So we'll find out at the end of the year. And by the way, that trade had nothing to do with signing a new deal in Carolina. So when it's all said and done, he could look at the money, or he could look at his old teammates and the possibility of winning another cup today if he comes back and signs, and he can make the decision himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he could, in theory, he's just a rental for the Hurricanes right now. He doesn't have to sign there. He's still a free agent once the season ends. There is a possibility he comes back. I feel like now with what's coming out, it does kind of seem like maybe the front office and his relationship has kind of soured a little bit as he's trying to kind of play damage control, it seems, these last few days.
Well, that's understandable. And okay, for Mikko Rantanen, let's all get back in our time machines, 88 miles an hour, and get our flux capacitors. Like, the last time he had a contract come up, he missed the entire preseason fighting over a deal. Like, he held out, and then he joined the team in the regular season because he was holding out, demanding his value. Since then, he's won a Stanley Cup, and he's found the Colorado Avalanche to go from what they were in 2016, 2017 to one of the Stanley Cup favorites year in, year out. And the talk is that the Avalanche have an internal cap. It doesn't matter what the salary cap's going to be. They don't want to pay anybody over Nathan MacKinnon. And this is not a let's make a sacrifice to our God, Nathan MacKinnon, and keep him happy so he doesn't burn the team down. No, this is called smart business, because the Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup with a deep team. The Florida Panthers won a Stanley Cup with a deep team. You do not want to be the Toronto Maple Leafs and pay for one line and half of a goalie and expect to have any success. Chris McFarland said this team's not deep enough. And if you want to have a deep team, you have to pay for deep players. You can't keep signing Calvin DeHaan deals 1 year, 1.2, Parker Kelly's. You can't keep bringing them in every year and expect to win a Stanley Cup.
No, you really can't. And that's the thing too. You do get the depth that they've needed, especially I think Jack Drury is going to be kind of a good thing for them. They've been terrible on faceoffs. They're ranked last in the league in faceoffs. So you get a guy who's been really well at winning faceoffs. And we saw what happened in the playoffs when they ran up against the Kraken, and they were not deep enough to take them on. I mean, the Kraken just sent wave after wave of really good guys against one really, really good line, and the Avs just crumbled. So I am definitely, as much as it pains me to see him go, I am happy that they were able to get a couple pieces back. I think Nachos will, once he gets playing with MacKinnon, I think we are going to see a definite uptick. The last game we were watching, I mean, there's a definite speed increase on this team, and the power play even looks better. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, especially with Nachos and MacKinnon playing alongside each other.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And my co-host over on Locked On Avalanche, Chris Maselli, he does a stat cast every now and then, just breaking down the numbers for all those sickos out there that eat numbers for breakfast. He highlighted the power play, and it has been abysmal. I mean, anemic at best. And this was with Mikko Rantanen. And the problem the power play had when Mikko Rantanen was a part of the team, it was 5 highly skilled players not moving. And you can't do anything on a power play if you're not moving. As soon as Natchez came in, what does he do? He's active. He's popping. He's taking shots. Even though they're not going in, he's actually taking shots. He's moving around.
They might as well call him the postman after that last game. I think he had 3 hit the post.
Yeah, he is Iron Man. Move over to Tony Stark. He is, but he's taking the shots. Like he's forcing the rest of the team. He's forcing Cale and Nate to actually, play hockey. It's so easy to walk in with the burgundy and blue and the A on your chest and then expect to win a game with that high caliber talent. Natchez is kind of getting it back to simple, fun hockey just by his presence being there, because he's a sparky kid. Like, he's tied for 6th in points. So, I mean, he's a very valuable player.
And that's the thing I think you look at. I mean, obviously we lose our leading point scorer in Rantanen, but you take the Canes, Rantanen's leading goal scorer. You take the Canes' leading points getter in Natchez, and you put him on a team that needs people moving around. And it is nice to see. I mean, I hate to say it, with Mikko gone, there is now just I guess the nice thing about Natchez is he's not, reluctant to shoot the puck. He's not reluctant to take the pass from McKinnon or just take a pass in general and not think, hey, I should probably get this to McKinnon. You know what I mean? And that's what's been nice to see these last couple games, is he's taking his chances when they're there rather than being reluctant and, moving on to the next pass, so to speak.
Yeah, and something else that needs to be touched on, I think, like, Avalanche fans, like, they view things in, like, eras. Like, you look at the 90s era, the golden age, what you will. Then you see the dark era, and then you see what we're in now. And everybody likes to think, your Mount Rushmore of Colorado Avalanche players, Peter Forsberg's on there. But a lot of, like, this goes back to, like, a Mandela effect. I hate to break it to everybody, but Peter Forsberg, he went to the Flyers, and then he went to Nashville.
Yeah.
He didn't, like, he went to other teams, like the immortal Peter Forsberg. You hear that name, you think of Colorado Avalanche. He went other places. Mikko Rantanen is going other places. Ryan O'Reilly, Matt Duchene, like, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Andre Burakovsky, Nazem Kadri. Like, their players move on. This team adapts, and you can put a team together, and it'll probably be, in the long run, a better team, because you just can't overpay. Like, you can't. Connor McDavid, he has Leon Draisaitl, the end, over there in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot pay for all-star super teams. This is not the NBA.
Well, and even then in the NBA, they're getting hamstrung now.
Falling apart now.
But and that's the thing too. And I think a lot of this, you brought up Leon Draisaitl, Rantanen and him have the same agent. And I think a lot of this has to do with his agent whispering in his ear, you deserve to be paid like a sinner. And it's just, that's not the way hockey works.
Sounds like a Drew Rosenhaus type guy.
Basically, kind of. That's a good way to put it.
And like, I love that theory until I also put on my nerd glasses and did some research. He's also the agent for Mackenzie Blackwood. Ooh. And if I was an agent, I would have not signed Mackenzie Blackwood as early as I did, especially with the numbers he's putting up.
Yeah, right now he's looking really good.
Yeah, he like, you're hearing his name thrown around as a possible Vezina if he continues this. So why would you not hold out? That's also, when we're looking back at this at the end of the year, you're looking at Mikko's early trade and Mackenzie Blackwood's early signing. This agent really has no patience.
No, yeah, you can tell, and I think it's just I think he's seeing the dollar signs, and I'm sure somebody will probably pay Rantanen above what McKinnon is getting right now. It was never going to be the Avalanche, and that's unfortunately just the way the cookie crumbled for him.
Yeah, ask Ottawa how Claude Giroux is working out for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, you can overpay for these talents, but you have to also understand, like, standalone. It's like if you watch the Tenacious D and Pick a Destiny movie, when
great reference.
they broke up when Kyle Gass decided to break away from the band and play by himself, he only sang his parts. Mikko Rantanen also had Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon also inflating those points, and you're going to see the Kyle Gass project
pretty much
in Carolina with Mikko Rantanen.
And I don't doubt that Mikko's going to get his. I'm just really interested to see what the McKinnon effect was with him, because I do think looking at this kind of from a 10,000 foot view perspective, there's going to be a significant drop off when it's just you and there's no McKinnon. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. But at this point, Chris McFarland is basically, I mean, if this goes bad, this is what's going to tarnish his legacy, because there's a lot of Avalanche fans in and around, you know, the United States and Canada for that matter. They're not happy that Rantanen is no longer on this team.
Well, and that also, like, I haven't been the biggest Chris McFarland defender in the world. Like, other than Cale Makar, who have they developed when it comes to prospects and draft picks?
Not much.
Talent. Not much at all. And then let's also rewind to last year. You had Ryan Johansson come in here, Tomas Tatar, along with Ross Colton and Miles Wood. Half of those four I listed are still with the team. One's not even playing hockey anymore. And this is in the beginning of this year, we've been screaming, what are you going to do about Landeskog? What are we doing about Balnachushkin? And, oh, we need goalies. And then a quarter of the season, you decide to trade both goalies. So it looks very mismanaged and sloppy. And he's doubled down by trading Rantanen so early. We'll see if it pays off. If it pays off, he's going to look like a genius, and they're going to make a movie about him and cast Brad Pitt to play his role, and it'll be Moneyball 2.
There you go.
But if it doesn't pay off, this will probably cost him his job.
It really is looking like that. But, you know, early signs. I mean, nobody had traded away both starting goalies before, and he's gone and done it, and he's looking like a genius for it, as Blackwood is playing out of his mind, and has kind of effectively turned this team's season around, because the lack of goalie play was just insane when it came from, you know, Georgie, for that matter. But you know, I'm really excited about it, to say the least, to see what's going to happen. At first, when I heard it, I was like, oh no, this is the worst thing ever. But now that I've sat back and kind of looked at it, I'm like, I think this might have been the best thing they could have done. And we've seen, you know, championship teams before. The Patriots, my co-host team, the Chiefs, have cut ties with really good players a year or two probably before they should have. But it ended up being the best thing for them, because their play either ended up falling off or whatever have you happened there in the future.
Well, see, and depending on whatever, like, your listeners are listening and whatever side they sit on the Chris McFarland bandwagon, the thing that screams the loudest right now, which there is no right or wrong answer, is why are we still holding on to Gabe Landeskog? He's almost gone as long as Winter Olympics to Winter Olympics before he's played an NHL game. What are you waiting on? Like, you can make all the good and bad moves, but why are you still waiting on him to come back and make a return? Like, this would be a big deal if he was making an AHL return.
Yeah.
But what are you holding on? Like, you're paying an NHL contract for an experimental surgery that hasn't been done in the NHL before.
No.
To come back and contribute to the team after we're going on 3 years with, in his words, and I quote, no immediate timeline on the horizon.
Yeah, and I heard something the other day. It's like they're talking maybe week to week, month to month. I'm like, I don't even know how you know. I mean, it's so far out there. I mean, Lonzo Ball is, I think, the only professional athlete to have had this surgery and returned to professional play at a level that is close to what he was before. And it's just like you said, this hasn't happened in hockey, and it's a little bit different. There's a lot more wear and tear on your knees and hips in hockey than there is in basketball. And I get it, though. I mean, they paid him immediately, you know, after he hasn't played on this new contract. Am I mistaken on that?
No, that's right. It was the Stanley Cup season, and that was
right
the last time
after
you saw him.
So I get it. You're hanging on to basically a hope and a prayer, but he is your captain. But you've shown with Mikko that, you know, you're willing to cut ties when it's not beneficial to you. And granted, the Landeskog thing is the worst thing you could imagine happening. A guy with an injury that you just don't know if he's ever going to play again. But you're right. There does come a time when you're paying him a lot of money for nothing.
Yeah, because you're penny pinching when it came to the goalie position. You had to trade those away.
Yep.
And then you are penny pinching to the point of having an internal cap and trading Mikko Rantanen away. So you're making semi-logical moves to make a really good team, but you're having to do this because you're holding onto a contract and somebody that's literally gone an entire presidential cycle before he's played an NHL game.
That's good. When you put it like that, it's pretty wild. Oh,
I mean, the truth hurts sometimes, but it's something we've become accustomed to it. Like on Locked On Avalanche, we used to have a counter on how many days without Landy. We just completely scrapped it. We'd be on thousands of days at this point.
Yes, just now it's years. It went from days to months to years. Oh man, and I mean, I do see that there is an update here from a day ago, but again, you can't read into any of this because anytime you see or hear about him on the ice, he's on the ice, and then he's not skating for a week. He's not skating for 2 weeks. I mean, I think the last couple of weeks was the first few times where he's been able to go skate and then come back out and skate again without any sort of issues. So, and he's $9 million sitting on the bench, and it's a rough thing. I get it.
Apparently making the trip and riding to New York with the team. Like I saw it in their social posts. I'm like, what are we doing here?
I mean, you'd like to think if he's cruising around with the team that his return is imminent, but you almost hear two different sides of the story. Like their actions are saying that his return is imminent, but anything that comes out from that camp words wise is all, I don't know, weeks, months. We don't know.
Yeah. And like Bednar, McFarland, it's all the same. It's, he's making progress, but he's nowhere near, but yet he's on the train and he's going around with the team. Like he could be called on at any time. So that has to be frustrating. I just don't know how an organization could be run like this. And eventually you're going to have to say, fully commit to making this a deep team and making the deep cuts that you need to. You've already proven that with Rantanen. Eventually you're going to have to sit down and talk to Landeskog and say, hey, we need to be a contender. Can you help us?
Yeah. And I don't know if he honestly can answer that question right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, but see, this is also a business. Like you can't have your ant farm project and just be like, maybe it'll pay off. Like I have a jar of sea monkeys. Just wait, it's going to grow. Like eventually you're going to have to say, hey, everybody else Dallas is a problem. Winnipeg is a problem. Everybody's getting better around us. We used to set the standard, and now the ceiling is being raised.
It definitely is. It's not getting any easier as everybody else is getting better around them. They've definitely got a hill to climb. The Central's nothing like it was a few years ago, where now they're sitting in and around the middle of it in terms of the standings, and they're trying to claw their way up to the top. It's tough. I get it. I don't know what the answer is at this point though, aside from you really hope that they could ask Gabe that question and him tell him the truth of whether or not he could actually come back and play soon.
And see, that's why Avs fans are so mad right now, because everything that is going on, there is no right or wrong answer. It's just sit and wait. And when you're basically 4 points away from being outside of the playoffs, you want to see immediate fixes and reactions. You want to see this team have an identity and start moving somewhere. When you have all these like looming questions and hypotheticals, it's a little frustrating and it's a lot to carry as an Avalanche fan. I can't imagine what that conversation was like in the locker room either.
That was my question too. I mean, you saw that after, Saturday's game, that there was some definite clouds hanging over the locker room. You could even see it on Bednar's face. I'm assuming they weren't happy with what happened, and it did kind of seem like the team didn't really tell anybody what was going on, although I find that hard to believe. But according to them, they kind of found out when everybody else found out.
Yeah, and honestly, this has been messaging that has been kind of written on the walls and in code for a couple weeks now. Like Bednar dropped Mikko down to the second line because he said, quote, I don't want any passengers. You can visibly see that this team is like, they're dropping games to Chicago, to Montreal, like a depleted Minnesota Wild team without Kirill Kaprizov. They're losing 3-1. Like games that they should win, they're not. Games that they have to fight, they win. So it's frustrating. You need these points. It's a long season. You got to go in and win each game. And with this blasé attitude of we're going to come in, beat the Blackhawks. Oh, they didn't. Oh, it just wasn't our best tonight. You have to do something to fire up the team. A little bit of that is that Mikko move. The rest of the locker room, Sam Girard, Josh Manson, they're looking at each other like, oh,
we could definitely
maybe I do need to play. Yeah.
Mikko's gone. We're definitely on the chopping block.
Yeah, nobody's safe. And now you have a long runway before the trade deadline, and everybody has that mentality. So you expect to see the Avalanche take it up a notch, and those who don't step up will be stepping out.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if there is any more moves. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, especially from the Spit and Chicklets boys out there, that they're trying to get that man over there from the Penguins to come and join us. And I don't know. Do you think the Avalanche have another big move in their pockets, or are we just going to kind of play along and see what happens at this point?
Well, this is basically we have made an NBA analogy earlier. This is an in-season tournament. Up into the trade deadline, like you just saw Mikko Rantanen leave. Everybody's untouchable. You're going to look at this team. You have the goalie position checked. That's fine. You might need an additional defenseman. I know Carlson was rumored for a bit, but now he's on the injured reserve, so that's out. You're going to keep looking. You have two players, Pedersen and Miller, in Vancouver that have been on the trade block all year long. You don't know if you need another forward and what that's going to cost you. Then you look at the wealth of your forwards. Is this enough to go 4 rounds in the playoffs? You're going to be looking and evaluating the rest in defense and forward on what you need. And you got to start getting some draft picks back in here too, because you really don't have anything for the future.
Yeah, and that was the one nice thing about the trade was that we did get a couple back. But I don't know, they need more than what they got back. And what was it, a second and a fourth?
Yeah, and that's probably not going to stick around because if they got another move or two in the belt, those are probably going right back out the door.
That was my thought process, that those came in and they'll be leaving as quickly as they showed up. So, yeah, I'm just wondering, I don't know if Sidney Crosby's going to come here. That'd be cool. I mean, come on, how cool would that be? But
like, I get it. It'd be nice. He's great, but is he your best option to fix the Colorado Avalanche?
No, probably
are you
not.
Are you chasing a good story, or are you chasing, like, if Mikko Rantanen doesn't work, please tell me how Sidney Crosby does.
That's true. I mean, aside from the fact you could say Rantanen had just kind of become lackluster, like you were saying, Bednar moved him because he wanted somebody that wasn't going to be a passenger. I mean, bringing somebody new in might spark that, like we saw with Nachos, and I could see that happening with Crosby. But again, you're right. He's also aging. How long are you going to have him for? There's a lot of questions that are going to go into that, but it would definitely be one hell of a story to have Nathan MacKinnon and his hometown hero basically teamed up on the same line, more or less.
Yeah, and throw Durin up there and have a really good story of all three of them up there. Like, that would be
there. You go.
That'd be a nice.
I forgot about Durin.
It's a nice little story, but do you want a Ray Bork story to win the cup, or do you want a 2022, like, that team was a deep team, like every name on that roster meant something and had a moment? Will everybody on this roster give you a moment to get you to the Stanley Cup?
Yeah. It's tough to say right now. Definitely tough to say. But, well, I appreciate your time. We kind of gone through the gamut of the Mikko trade at this point. What do you think is going to happen the rest of the year? I mean, where do you think they're going to wind up in terms of the playoffs? I'm obviously hoping we're going to be in it, but do you think we're going to be probably middle of the road in terms of playoff position?
Yes, I think now at the beginning of January, I said go out and win the Central. They won a game, lost a game, won a game, lost a game all January. They made it hard on themselves. So they're, like my co-host Chris Maselli said, they kind of adopted the Tampa Bay mentality of win and then do your damage. Mm-hmm. Just get into the playoffs and then go from there. That's what it's going to be. It's really not helped dropping a couple of these easy wins, these scheduled wins. Dropping those have made it a little hard, and you really don't want to have to go back to a game 82 type scenario that they saw a couple of years ago where they were just win the last game of the season. But they're going to be fighting. If this team does improve at the trade deadline, you're not really worried about seeding especially with the goalies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what version of the forwards do you get?
Yeah. That's a good point. It is going to come down to what we end up seeing out there and how they're going to, produce in playoff time, because right now they are going to be scratching and clawing to get there. But I'm hoping, like you said, if they do make some moves come the trade deadline, you're going to have some, not necessarily healthy bodies, but you're going to have some new guys coming in that are going to bring some life and hopefully breathe a little, something into this team to get them over the hump.
The team needs an identity, and they need a mission, and they need a rallying point. I don't know how bad it has to get. Like, you lost Mikko. Like, you hit about as bad as you can get. You've got to start moving forward as a team, and this needs to stop being a collection of individual talent.
Yeah, that, really, it has kind of seemed like that the last pretty much year, where it's just a bunch of really, really talented guys that aren't playing the best together, so to speak. So that would be definitely nice to see transpire here.
Yeah, that's it. Once you start seeing them rally around kind of like the team mentality, then you can start really feeling some positives for where this team's going. But if it's more of the same of what you've been getting with a couple new faces, it's going to be a long year.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not that same way for our Nuggets either, but we'll see how that goes. I feel like both these teams are kind of, I know you probably don't care too much about the Nuggets, but I feel like both of these teams here in Denver are right around the same in terms of, it's like, what are they going to do? Who are you? Like, what are you going to do this year? Nobody knows. And I don't even think the teams have any idea who they are. So it'll be nice to see them hopefully figure that out come the trade deadline. But on that note, man, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't yet, go check out the Locked On Avalanche podcast. Let everybody know where they can find you on all the socials and such.
Yeah, if you want to find all Avalanche coverage that we do, you have to search Locked On Avalanche, whatever social media you use. We're on YouTube. That's probably the best place to come find us. And if you want to look for me, I'm on social media everywhere you look at Shaggy Von Doom.
There you go.
Nice. Thanks again, Kyle.
Thank you so much, Kyle. You have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we'll be talking here towards the end of the season about one hell of a playoff run. So let's bank on that. And until then, man, you have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk soon.
All right, take it easy.
Thanks, man. Have a good one, Kyle. Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
Nice.
Sorry, I kind of railroaded that one a little bit.
No, I was hoping you would take the reins. That's your wheelhouse, man. So well done.
I was just like, I realized Chad hasn't said much.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't, because I would not have known what to say.
Okay, good. Well, it worked out for the best.
Yep.
We thank Kyle greatly for coming on. Make sure to go check out Locked On Avalanche. Right now, though, it is time for the music break. And this month we have Meet the Giant. This song is called Drive. It is off their first self-titled album, Meet the Giant, from 2018. So give it a listen, and we will be right back.
A You're no star, no gift, no light. Thank God it's dark tonight. You are the one. You are the one. Without whom, without whom, you are the one. You are the one. Without whom, oh baby, without whom, you are the one. You are the one. You are the one. Without whom.
We are back. You just heard Meet the Giant. If you haven't, please go and check them out on meetthegiant.bandcamp.com. Find out where they're playing, download their music, buy music directly from them, and make sure to go catch them if you're in the Denver area next time they're playing. But it is time to continue on down the NFL headlines, which really right now we're going to kind of parlay the Daily Dogs into talking about the conference championships. And I'm going to start with mine real quick.
Do you want to finish the head coaches?
Oh, shit. We didn't finish the head coaches. I thought we got all the way
We
through.
got a couple
Well,
more.
it's my bad,
3 more.
Chad. Tell us about them.
All right, so Ben Johnson is hired by the Bears.
Yes.
Yep.
I thought we covered that one last week. Maybe we didn't. But yeah, that was a good catch for the Bears. We'll see.
Yep.
He also kind of had a weird press conference. A lot of the press conferences were weird this year. I don't know.
I didn't really find it too weird. I thought it was pretty badass for him to go in there and be like, "Yeah, I love beating Matt LaFleur twice."
Yeah, it's just the way he said it. It's just kind of strange. I don't know. I don't know if he didn't say it with his chest. I feel like if he
Yeah.
would have said it with his chest,
You got to set it in a catty way.
yeah,
yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know. But yeah,
But-
we'll see how it goes.
Yep. They need to get some offensive line. That's what
They
they're gonna
definitely need
first.
offensive line, and then see if they can make Caleb Williams into what he was supposed to be. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Other one, Robert Saleh. Tell us
Yep.
where he went, Chad.
He went to the Niners.
Yes.
Returns.
Back home
Yep.
to Papa Shanahan.
Yeah, he was really good as their defensive coordinator back when he was there. Went to a Super Bowl with them, lost, but you know he was their defense was really good while he was there, and so they did get rid of their one this year. Their defense was weak, so he returns home.
He went home. He's
Yep.
back. Yeah, so we'll see if he can right the ship there in Niners land.
The last head coach vacancy is still yet to be filled. New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, and people keep turning it down. I saw that Cliff Kingsbury said that, no, I'm just going to stay.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaving
I
to
don't
go
blame
deal
him.
with that.
He's got Jaden Daniels there, man.
He's like, I'm good. I'm going to make this be my ticket out of here and get another big run with Jaden before I go be a head coach. But
That's right.
yeah, I'm interested to see who's going to go there at this point because the carousel is pretty empty right now, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Well, I'm really hoping they don't hire Spags. That's all I
Go
know.
Spags
No.
to the Saints.
Don't leave us, Spags.
Go to the Saints,
You know, Matt Nagy.
please.
Take Matt Nagy.
They probably will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the Daily Dogs.
Daily dogs out.
Conference Championship Edition. Yes, the Daily Dogs this week both come from the games on Sunday. I'm going a little different. I'm not picking a player. I'm picking a coach,
Nice.
which who knows? This could be who's going to the Saints once the season ends. Is Kellen Moore,
Yeah.
the OC for the Eagles. I mean, this was one hell of a coaching demonstration put on in terms of
First
the
play of the game.
offensive side of the ball. They end up hammering the Commanders 55 to 23, and they set a record with 7 rushing touchdowns. The Cowboys, in comparison, only had 6 rushing touchdowns all season. So they were running all over. I mean, tush pushes. You had Saquon going for 60. You had field goals. You were matriculating the ball down the field, and it was all under the guise of Mr. Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and that's with them shuffling offensive line too. Cam
Yeah.
Jurgens got back tightness, so they shuffled Land Dickerson over a
Yeah,
spot.
that's true.
And I mean, it didn't matter. And it's just, the big thing too is Deron Payne was out in this game. That is a star defensive tackle for the Commanders.
I don't think he really would have.
It wouldn't have mattered. I think it would have made a difference as far as the scheme. But Vic Fangio, he could get the daily dog. He called a hell of a game. He really disrupted Jaden Daniels. I mean, in the first drive of the game, he's like, we're going to let you do what you want, and then we're going to figure you out.
Yeah, and he did. And, I mean, Fangio, we've talked about before, his defense right now is kind of what is a lot of people are predicating their own defense off of, because he is kind of taken the top off of the offense, so to speak, and it really makes you keep everything in front of them, and they'll just beat you down that way, and they did. Washington, it was sad in a sense, because I was really hoping it was going to be a better game, but the moment was a little too big, and Jaden, I don't think Jaden really looked like the moment was too big. I felt like he kept his composure incredibly well for a rookie, but bring up who didn't keep their composure, Chad.
Oh, Marshawn Lattimore, man. Yes, thank you for reminding me. This dude has got to grow up. Yeah. I mean, he did it whenever he was on the Saints with Mike Evans. Yep. He would always get in fights and stuff like that. And it's sad. I mean, this is a guy that constantly causes fights. He had penalty after penalty in this game, and then when he was interviewed after the game, said, "Oh, those guys need to stop with the turnovers." Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you were the reason that they it was somewhat of a tight game, and then you had some boneheaded moves, or you got in like AJ Brown's face, and AJ Brown's just like, "Go ahead,
yeah, do it, go for it." Yeah, and there was the other one on the tush push. I believe he had a unsportsmanlike penalty on one of the tush push touchdowns too. And that might have been the one with AJ Brown. Actually, it was, because they were off to the side. The tush push happened, and then they got in each other's faces. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marshawn Lattimore definitely hurt the team more than he helped them last weekend. But on the offensive side of the ball, Kellen Moore is my daily dog.
Daily.
And now, unfortunately, everybody, I must let Mr. Chad take a victory lap.
Go ahead, lean back. I let you have your time with the Avs. There's no way I'm about to breeze past. Possibly and arguably.
We do have a time limit, but yes, go.
We do not have a time limit.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we got
Listen, if the Broncos were in the same spot, I would let you gloat, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Because this is just actually like what Nate Burleson said. Let's just appreciate greatness, because this is possibly the greatest NFL team in history. Yep. Nobody has made it this far. There have been, I've got it pulled up here, 8 teams that have gone back-to-back and won Super Bowls. Them trying to go through and three-peat, none of them made it back to the Super Bowl. The 1966 Green Bay Packers missed the playoffs. Miami Dolphins, 1972, the best team in history, lost in the divisional round to the Raiders. Pittsburgh Steelers lost in the AFC Championship. I can go on and on. Nobody's made it this far. This is the first team in history to make 5 Super Bowls in 6 years.
Yep. It's the greatest run in 7 years in NFL history.
There's no doubt about it. There's no way I could breeze over this, because I was very nervous about this game. Josh Allen, I mean, he had a stellar year, but he
didn't really have a bad game.
He really had kind of like a B minus, B plus game. It wasn't
good enough.
If you look at that last play, though, I mean, he shifted the line over to the left when the blitz was clearly coming to the right, and for Joe Brady to not realize that, like, Spags blitzes on must-have situations. Yeah. We've seen it all throughout the time. Why not adjust for that? I mean, that's just it. It's like, that's why these guys keep winning, because it's every facet of the game. Spags in these games. I mean, he literally is being touted right now in the sports media world as possibly being the best coordinator in history, up there with Bill Belichick. Yeah. He beat the undefeated Patriots. And then, for the Giants. Then he's done it, won 2 Super Bowls with us.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man. I mean, I can go on and on, obviously, about it. They obviously had some mistakes. They had to, Pat had that horrible fumble, but he doesn't run those RPOs too much. Yeah. But what's great, and what I love Andy Reid so much, and why you got to respect him, he just eclipsed his 300 win. And I don't know if you saw his comments in the locker room when Clark Hunt handed him the trophy. Mm-mm. He goes, let me get a few more, and we're gonna match my my body weight.
Oh, there you go.
That's great. You know,
That's Andy Reid.
he's a very joking guy. I mean, yeah, you can hate his commercials; they're goofy as hell. But
I hate bundle Rooskies.
you know, that's what the thing too is. Like, this is why this dynasty I think is better than the Patriots. The Patriots got found guilty for Spygate. They got found guilty for deflating the balls. I mean, they had all kinds of controversy. Even the Broncos, they had the salary cap issues. Mark Schlereth tried denying that as much as he could, but there is
everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that they were guilty of it. They tried scapegoating the salary cap. So far, right now, obviously the Chiefs have had a lot of guys get arrested and shit like that. But,
nothing's come out yet.
Yep, nothing's come out yet. I can't speak for like what maybe whatever, but. And everybody can get mad about the refs and everything like that. But I mean, goddamn, it's like, you know, we've seen the way it goes with, you know, these teams that are great. And the thing of it is like, you look at like the numbers. Josh Allen has more roughing the passers. I said it right.
Yeah,
than
he
any
did. Roughing the passengers.
Anybody else?
No, yeah, there was all that stuff coming out before. Again, though, why we're relying on two middle-aged men on either side of a field.
Yep.
When we have GPS technology, I don't know if you know what that means, global positioning system.
Oh, thanks.
You could actually put something on that ball so that you knew exactly how far that ball traveled at any point on the field.
Do you know that they have computer chips in the jerseys?
That tells them how fast they're running and where they're running and how far they ran and where
the
they
pressure
ran on
rate.
the field.
Why not put that in the ball? I totally agree with you, man. I
don't
know why they
I'm
don't.
not going to sit here and bitch about the refs. I've brought it up before. I've never seen a referee go and pat a guy on the chest and say, "Hey, sorry, I fucked up." That happened to Josh Allen. It goes both ways.
That was ridiculous.
As far as I'm concerned, this is the product we're forced to watch. The NFL doesn't really seem to care. They could easily fix these things. They choose not to. Instead, we have middle-aged referees watching one of the fastest-paced games in the world and expected to make these calls with no sort of any outside help in split-second decisions. And it's again,
they need to fix this product, and I've talked about it with guys at work.
It's sad because it does. Unfortunately, it takes away from the Chiefs. There shouldn't be any argument.
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah,
and then you know, and that's the argument you're going to have. Like, well, the refs want it. Well, the NFL sees Taylor Swift as a cash cow, and having her up in a press box in any given game is going to increase your viewership by hundreds of millions by the fact that Taylor Swift is there. The NFL sees that.
Let's bring that up. The AFC Championship game,
most watched ever.
57 million watch.
Take away Taylor Swift. Back to where you were.
But that's just what's great. It's like it's widening the avenue. It is. It's getting more money for the players with the people that hate on it. And that's just it.
But
like
it puts
when I
the bad onus on the NFL when they see the dollar signs and it's clear that they're. It doesn't. But there's
no. It doesn't. You can take it however you want. But I mean, the way I look at it too is a grandpa that maybe watches the game and then his granddaughter comes in and is like, "Oh, there's Taylor Swift." That sees her for 4 seconds. I mean, you know, I was kind of watching this because people really bitch about it, and it's like, if this is really what bothers you, dude, you need to figure out something in your life. If seeing. I mean, the most successful person.
It would be cool to just focus on football in the biggest game of the year rather than cut up to her watching
for
the game.
13 seconds. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, that's
I don't really
sad,
care.
Man.
It doesn't. I didn't turn on the game to watch Taylor Swift. If I wanted to, I could go watch her music videos or anywhere.
When Tom Brady was with Giselle, you're going to see Giselle.
Exactly. It was nowhere near what it was with Taylor Swift, dude.
Do you think Giselle is as rich and as
I know
popular
Giselle
as Taylor?
She's more popular than Tom Brady.
Exactly.
But
that's what I'm saying.
She wasn't as shown as much as Taylor Swift.
She's the massive celebrity, and that's just it. Is like the people that hate on her. It's like she literally. I'm not saying you're.
I don't want to see it because I'm watching football.
But that's what I'm talking about, dude. The amount of seconds we watch. How about the commercials, dude? We watch so many commercials. It's not necessary.
That's my point. They're like, the games are too long if we do replays. Well, you know, maybe just have the sports books pay you more money, and then this replay is brought to you by MGM Grand.
Yeah. I mean, we literally have commercials and during timeouts where it's like a split screen nowadays. Anyway, I got one more point, and then I'm going to hit my daily dog. I appreciate the time for the rant because this is epic. I'm so glad they made it back to the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs and Andy Reid is a genius. It's going to be a tough test, man. And we are doing a Super Bowl preview episode with our Philly special guys next week. They will be coming on. We'll do a little preview with them because that is going to be. I am nervous about that. Saquon Barkley. I'm glad I drafted him this year.
Let's go, Saquon.
Yep. Nuts, dude. You're a good friend, and I can't believe you can't even be happy for the Chiefs.
Oh,
It cracks
I'm
me
never
up,
going to
man.
be happy for the Chiefs. You'd never be happy for the Broncos. You're going to be like, yay, the Broncos won the Super Bowl. Would you?
I wouldn't be like that.
No,
But
I'm not
Super
going
Bowl
to.
50, I literally was, dude. I literally
know.
text you at the time, man. So there's a case in
I'll
point
text
where I have been.
I'll text you congrats when they do it, if they three-peat.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything after the AFC Championship.
Because that's not the end, is it? Is that what you guys wanted to win? Was the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl?
Well, that is the game that took us farther than any other team's gone.
That's true, but there's one more to get, and I'll congratulate them on the three-peat. Again, I didn't realize you worked for them, but I will make sure to pin you a nicely worded letter.
Because
with
I do a podcast,
calligraphy.
I technically work for the media. But
Till we
one
get
more
media
point.
credentials, I think
Yeah.
that's a stretch. But yes,
So one more point. The Chiefs kind of copied the Baltimore Ravens.
I saw
They
that.
ran some plays that they have never ran before. Diamond formation.
The Patrick
they ran
Mahomes
two
run.
of them, and they scored on both of them. They ran with Noah Gray and Travis Kelce in the backfield and Kareem Hunt behind them. They ran a counter to the left, and then Greg Rousseau for the Bills even said, "We had never seen that on tape before. We were confused." That to me is exactly why I love Andy Reid, dude. That's why I can do this, because you've seen me when I was a Chiefs fan. We were 2-14,
Yep.
man. We sucked. The Broncos used to beat the shit out of us. Now the
There was
tides
a
have
time.
turned. The tides have turned, and Andy Reid has saved us from grace.
36-0. Woo!
Hit 38. Actually.
Oh yeah.
So that play call, I could not believe it, and that's exactly why I have faith in Andy Reid and Mahomes no matter what. That to being able to just always stay creative like that, it was great.
That is the one nice thing about Andy Reid. They're always doing. It's like, why run the same shit all the time?
Yeah, and I mean that's one reason like I don't get worried during the regular season, and that's like one of the points that some of these analysts bring up is like all this time during the season is like, oh, the Chiefs have all these one score games and they barely win. They're going to be, you said it, they're going to lose right out of the first round of the playoffs. They treat
just
the regular
wishful
season
thinking.
as exactly. They treat the regular season as a laboratory.
Yeah.
They were running the most basic plays all year long, and this is the time they break it out. But this is my daily dog. Hit it.
Pull that daily dogs out.
Chris actually got me this guy's jersey way back in the day for my 30th birthday. I am so glad we went and got this guy, and I'm going to play you this little interview after the game because I just think it's so inspiring because it's all about just don't give up. There's players out there that maybe get cut in the offseason, and they're like, all right, well, I'm going to sit on the couch or I'm going to go coach a high school team or whatever. That's great. But he did not give up. He stayed in shape. He worked with trainers and coaches, and the Chiefs brought him back. And the more important thing is, he got cut right before the Chiefs began their dynastic run. And for him to come back.
Don't be kicking bitches.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, everybody deserves a second chance. That's
true.
what's great. As he came back in this game, he had an awesome game. I'm talking about Kareem Hunt. Had 17 carries, 64 yards, and 1 TD. And it's his broken tackles that I love. He always runs forward and falls down at least a couple yards. He never
Gotta love
gets
that.
pushed back. That's one thing. I honestly prefer him a little bit over Pacheco. I love them both, but I think the hot hand right now is Kareem Hunt. And there was a reporter after the game that asked him and talked about it, and I think he just said it best. Let me make sure my volume's up. Player. Right now, I think I'm playing it.
Season been like for you? You didn't start the year on this team. You finish it not only on the Chiefs but heading to the Super Bowl.
Man, it's a dream come true, man. I remember all the long days going up to my high school with my high school track coach, just training, praying to get another opportunity to play somewhere, man. Middle of September, late September, I'm still just going up there every day. I could have quit. I could have just said, forget it, I might just hang it up, but I just like, man, somebody gonna pick me up. I'm just praying, and it happened to be the greatest opportunity to come back home.
What gave you the fortitude to keep going when you said you could have quit?
Man, just my family, everybody, and just how much I love football. And just knowing, last year I wasn't 100% healthy, and this year I felt great. I got my work done with my body and was able to train and, stay in shape without having training camp or OTAs and just, come out here and do what I do.
This organization.
So that'll be enough. I just think that right there is why Kareem Hunt is my daily
Pull
dog.
that daily dogs out.
All right. Well, let us move on into hard in the paint.
Let's do it.
Let's get hard in that paint.
Right side to Scott. Slam dunk. seconds. 3 seconds left. Why are they not fouling? Jumper Murray.
All right. Well, the NBA trade deadline is quickly approaching. Next week, February 6th at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because that's the only time that matters to us. The trade deadline will be happening, and there is a lot of movement on the trade deadline already, as the Heat have suspended Jimmy Butler indefinitely after another notch in the Butler saga has come to a head. He missed a team flight last week, and now he missed a shoot-around, and they have suspended him basically until he's traded, from the sounds of it. So
yeah, this is kind of like the last. He ain't going to be on the team much longer.
No, yeah, it's Tuesday.
Yep. And news just came out as of around like 3 or 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time that the Golden State Warriors and the Suns are engaged in talks to trade for Butler.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, it sounds like he's gonna go there, but I do have a feeling it is gonna be one of those crazy 5-team NBA trades where we'll probably see the next guy, De'Aaron Fox, who made it known that he wants to be out of Sacktown. It sounds like he wants to be landing out there in San Antonio with Wemby. I do have a feeling that these two trades are probably going to be correlated together, so to speak.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, I am kind of surprised by the De'Aaron Fox thing, but we saw it like with the Michael Malone thing, where there's talks that he's never worn purple since getting fired from the Kings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Mike Brown's a really good friend of his, and he was pissed.
He was
really
because
pissed.
they did it wrong.
Yeah.
They didn't really give him a chance.
They fired him after practice.
And Michael Malone got fired when DeMarcus Cousins was, that's back when Boogie was like doing really well a long time ago, and Boogie was hurt, and so the team wasn't doing too hot, so they didn't give him a chance. So I don't really like the management of the Kings, and so I think that might be why.
Well, it's surprising because they fire Mike Brown and then they hit an uptick and they're doing pretty good. They were winning some games, but yeah, now all of a sudden De'Aaron Fox says, I ain't with it no more. So he will be on the way out more than likely here next week. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Andre Iguodala will be the first Golden State Warrior of the Dubs dynasty, so
Finals MVP.
Yeah, he will be the first to have his jersey retired to the rafters in Golden State's arena. So that's pretty cool.
That's another one where the Nuggets let him go to the Warriors.
Yeah, he was good here, but
he played a lot better there.
He's played a lot better there.
Yeah. So true. The other thing too, just kind of like an update on how things are going on the NBA. We'll run through the standings real quick, but man, the Rockets are playing really good.
I know we need to get Robert on. I want it because they're going off.
I figured after football season, we'll start getting some basketball guys on. But the Cavs, one of the best teams in the league, they've dropped three of their last games, 2 to Houston and then 1 to Philly. And then just last night, Houston beat the Celtics. I mean, the Rockets, man. Fred VanVleet, Seguin.
Yeah, they are playing out of their minds, and it's one of those teams that everybody kind of had under the radar this year, and turns out that here they are, second in the Western Conference.
Crazy.
Behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we'll start right there. In the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder at 37-8 are sitting in first. The Houston Rockets 6 games behind them at 31-14. The Grizzlies 31-16 in third. The Nuggets 28-18 in fourth. The Lakers 26-18 in fifth, and the Clippers have now moved up into the top 6, 26-20 for the Clippers there
Yeah, we need the Nuggets to win. We got the Lakers like clipping at our heels. We can't have the Lakers passing us right now.
And then they dropped a terrible game.
I hated it last night. I was so mad.
They got outshot so bad on the 3-point line. It was like 20-4.
And the whole time I'm thinking that's why I kind of wanted Levine.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's still possible.
The bench just played horrible.
Bench wasn't good, but there could still be a
Christian Brown, 28 points last night.
Christian Brown's balling. Dude.
He's playing real good, man.
Real good.
Yep.
Playing real good.
All right, I'll hit the Eastern Conference real quick. Cleveland Cavaliers, like I said, they have usurped the Boston Celtics. I think this, actually, that was a while ago. I forgot about that. So they are number 1 seed, and then the Boston Celtics at 32-15. Number 3, the Knicks at 31-16. The Bucks, who's been playing pretty good, 26-18. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. And the Pacers, 25-20. And then the Heat, just meandering there at 23-22.
Yeah.
purgatory.
And they're getting ready to trade away their best player. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. We'll see how that plays out for them.
That is the basketball
That
news.
is the basketball news. Let's get into the hockey news.
Liar's penalty on number 8, Dave Schultz.
This guy
2 minutes for
is the one
hooking.
who wrote the song.
2
Dave
minutes for
Schultz.
roughing.
He used to be a
5
Philadelphia
minutes
Flyer
for fighting.
back
and
in the
a 10-minute
70s. He wrote the
misconduct.
Song, Dave
Yes.
Schultz?
No, this song is written by Dave Schultz. It's called The Penalty Box.
Baby, how long will you keep me in the penalty box? Baby, I'm wrong, but it's lonely in the penalty box. I know I
Yeah, so
broke
this is
the
the new Penalty
rules,
Box song. I think
but
I found it.
rules are broken by fools.
But we're going to kind of fly through this.
Baby, how long will you keep me in the penalty box? Love
But
is like an ice
we are
hockey
just
game.
going to fly through the NHL
Sometimes.
because we had Kyle on talking a lot about the Avalanche and a lot about the Mikko Rantanen trade. Speaking of which, Kyle brought it up. At one point, the Avs were talking about Kirill Kaprizov as a possible trade candidate. Well, unfortunately, he will be on the IR for the next significant amount of time with a surgery on a lower body injury. We don't know what it is, but he had been out a month before coming back on January 23rd. And when he returned, he just was not the same. And he played 2 more games before making the decision to have the surgery. It's not season ending, but he is going to be gone for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. In other goalie news, the Capitals signed goalie Logan Thompson to a 6-year extension with an average annual value of $5.85 million after his breakout season so far. Through 27 games, he is 22, 2, and 3, and his saves percentage is .925, and he has a 2.09 goals against average. Both are second behind the current Vezina favorite, Connor Hellebuck, over there at the St. Louis Blues. So, good for them signing him. And speaking of which, we got to get an update on Ovechkin. Ovechkin watch. Speaking of the Capitals, Ovechkin has now 20 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record of 894. He's sitting at 875. Unfortunately, in his last game, he was silenced, but it's still possible. There's enough games for him to do it.
Still plenty of time.
And I think he's going to do it. So
Yeah, I think so.
we will keep updating you
Do you
guys
think
on
if he
that.
surpasses him, do you think he's better than Sidney Crosby? That's kind of like been which one's better? I think Crosby has more Stanley Cups, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would have to go Ovechkin. That's a crazy career, man.
Yeah, the
That's
longevity
insane.
too. You know,
That's
'Cause, I mean,
insane.
Crosby's starting to fall off.
He is. He hasn't been the same the last few years.
I
You
know
can
he's been
definitely
injury
see
riddled.
the age and injuries have caught up to him, but yeah, I would have to go Ovechkin. I mean, dude, you beat the great ones record.
That's
man.
one of those crazy. I mean, a lot of people put that
Nobody's
up there
better than Gretzky,
with Emmitt
but-
Smith's record.
Yeah.
Or Landon Dickerson's.
I
excuse me.
saw a crazy video of, I guess it was like in the 80s or something. They had like the top 4 or 5 guys from different sports race. I think Pele and like the fastest sprinter at the time all raced, and Wayne Gretzky demolished them by like
running.
Demolished them.
That's insane.
It was weird.
I didn't
I'll have to
realize he was
find the
that
video.
fast.
I didn't either, but
Wow.
I was like, dude, those are like, that's like a soccer player and shit. Like he like, dude, I'm talking like they take off. Like if this was it, he's here and they're like back here. Like he's blowing them away. And you're just like,
Wow.
whoa.
I didn't realize he was that fast. That's
Me
crazy.
either. But
Pretty cool.
yeah, a little weird thing there. I'll
damn.
post that video one of these days this week. But that's it for the penalty box. Let's hit the standings real quick. We'll just go down the top leaders of each one here.
Good idea.
As we're crunched on time. But yeah, so in the Atlantic division, the Toronto Maple Leafs are sitting at 30 wins, 18 losses, and 62 points. In the Metropolitan division, speaking of the Capitals, they are sitting at 33 wins, 11 losses with 71 points. Moving to the Central division, we have the Winnipeg Jets, 34 wins, 14 losses, 71 points. And then in the Pacific to round it out, we have the Edmonton Oilers, 32 wins, 15 losses with 67 points. So yes, that is where we sit right now in the NHL with 50 games played. So we're a little past the halfway point and we're cruising down to the end. So we will be definitely focusing more on the NBA, NHL, and NCAA basketball after the Super Bowl. well, I was planning on eating the hot gummy bear next week, but we'll see how it goes with I'd rather do a big episode for the preview of the Super Bowl, so we might do the gummy bear after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe we just wait till after football season.
Yeah,
and there's not much going on. That's fine.
That's something to do.
All right, have you ordered it yet?
I was going to order it this week. So,
Okay.
yeah. I also have like the devil's thumb sucker thing, but I'm just gonna do the gummy bear.
All right.
And it's gummy bear is what it is.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah,
I'll have like milk. I know.
No, that's what I'm doing, dude.
Yeah, I know Alex drank like a gallon of milk.
Like a pint of milk and water and Tums for after. That's all I'm taking.
And I'll have 911.
And you should
on
probably
speed
have
dial, too.
911 in your phone in case
I'm
just like,
not joking.
I can't feel my left arm.
Can you wear like a fitness watch or something just to check your blood pressure? So I don't know.
His heart rate's at 230. It
That's
should
not
explode.
Your face is going to be the color
Oh, dude,
of your
my
hat.
face is going to be so red. I'm going to be crying. It's going to be absolutely brutal. But
Dude, when we went back to Kansas City, we ate this place. It's, I guess, kind of like a chain. It's like a diner. It's Black Bear Cafe. Ever heard of them?
Yeah.
They start in Cali, but it was awesome. They have huge food portions. It was perfect for me.
Gotta get like a chicken fried steak that's like the whole plate.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I got literally biscuits and gravy and just everything.
Like
But
a dozen biscuits.
dude, their hot sauce was awesome. So I had to buy it. It was like some habanero hot sauce. I'll have to let you try it sometime, dude. It is.
Love a good hot
epic.
sauce.
Oh yeah.
But
All right.
well, we've got one more thing.
Yes, we do.
It's the daily dose of the daily dose of excellence. At the end of every show, we like to let the man, the myth, the legend himself, John Daly, grip it, rip it, and hit it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man.
That's right.
Far, man.
Real far.
No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact.
It's a natural fact. Speaking of which, I saw he's back up on his feet. He was out
Oh,
at
is he?
events.
That's good.
The
Maybe
hand.
he could do the TGL once he gets healthy.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I am not interested.
I tried. I haven't watched it. I've just seen the. I've tried watching a couple
It's super
highlights.
popular.
I know. It just doesn't look that cool.
I mean, the golf is very, very popular worldwide, and so I think that's why. It's the off season.
Yeah,
And
It's
Tiger's
like on
involved.
Sundays or something.
Oh, it started on Tuesdays, and then they moved it to Monday just yesterday.
I don't even know what it is. Well, maybe I'll have to check it out. But we have some daily dose of excellence to get to.
Yes, we do.
And this one involves the UFC.
Yeah, it does. All right. Yuri Prochazka. He just fought on the most recent pay-per-view, UFC 311, not the band. He surprised many when he showed up to Thursday's pre-fight press conference with a shaved head. A longtime fan of Prochazka's, Ashley McGarity paid homage to his war hair. If anybody doesn't know, Yuri Prochazka is a Czech Republic fighter with this crazy kind of like ponytail.
It's like a samurai
It looks
top
like a
knot,
samurai
but
thing.
the rest of his head is shaved. He just literally has like a little like mohawk top knot thing. He's had it like since he started fighting. I think.
So
Well,
it
at
raised
least
a
since
lot
he
of
did UFC.
eyebrows when he cut it, and and he did it for to pay honor to Ashley McGarity because she was a fan of his, and he did this just before her undergoing her cancer treatment, which immediately caught his attention, and because she had cut her hair like his, and so he showed up to the event with the shaved head to honor her. And then he went on to say, this hair was inspired by Ashley. That girl, she's fighting with cancer. She will come tomorrow. This is my showing of solidarity because it's about sending the good energy. He said, yesterday I reached 1 million followers on Instagram, so I will give for each other 1 million. It was in, it's Corona. That's like the Czech,
Czech money.
Yep, Czech money.
Yeah.
By my foundation to oncologist patients. Martial arts is something to give back. It's all about good energy. And what's cool is he won his fight against Jamal Hill, and he just beat the hell out of Jamal Hill,
He
too.
did, yeah.
Brought her into the cage afterwards.
Oh, nice.
Which was really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah. So he ends up donating what in American money is $50,000.
Oh my God.
Which is a ton.
That is a lot.
These UFC fighters don't make that much money.
No.
We've talked about it before.
It's crazy that's $1 million.
Yeah, he's like 20 billion chalalalas, and it's like $50,000. Okay, all right. Yeah. But yeah, so he donated $50,000. But then the cool thing was, and when Chad first shared this to me, he said, or it said something about Dana White did something as well. I was like, Dana White's already bald. How do you shave his head anymore? But he just donated $100,000.
Oh, yeah, he doubled it.
Whoa,
Cool.
no, you're right. I just misread it. He matched it to make it $100,000,
Very cool.
which I feel like Dana could have given a little more. But nonetheless, $100,000 going to oncology research and stuff, which is really good. It sounds like she had cervical cancer, which I guess that's one of the scarier ones for women because more often than not, they just think they're having like period pains, and then all of a sudden you go get checked out, and they're like, "You've got stage 4." Something,
That's why those I think pap smears or whatever they're called, they're pretty important. That's scary.
Go get checked. But yeah, it's super cool. It's always nice to see these guys, take their platform and do something cool with it.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is.
I've always respected him.
We've been watching some videos of his. I guess he has a technique where he technically blocks with his forehead.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he'll headbutt a punch.
Yeah, and his training technique, his training is really wild. He, trains out in the middle of nowhere, it looks like Iceland or something, where it's super cold. He does the ice cold water, training. Takes a samurai sword and just katana. Dude, he's the eccentric guy.
He trains like an 80s movie montage, basically.
Steven Seagal style. But he is making a comeback. I mean, that was a good bounce back win against Jamal Hill. And, it was cool afterwards, too. Like I said, his sportsmanship, and he's got a good heart. There was a scene from them, like a club or something like that, where they were there was a video of them sharing a drink and cheersing afterwards.
Oh, yeah. That has got to be one of the weirder things. More often than not, you probably don't hate the guy you're fighting, You're just like, I just got to go fight this guy. It's my job. So that's got to be a weird dichotomy to afterwards we're like, hey, what's up, man?
And Jamal Hill's sitting over there.
Like, hey, what's up, man?
Swollen eye, man. He really got
a hell of a fight, dude.
Good job.
How I can't see out of my eye now.
Right.
Sick, dude.
It's all because of you.
But yeah, that's super cool.
Hats off to him. He gets the daily dose of excellence.
Yuri Prohashka.
But we appreciate you guys listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like we said, next week we have a Super Bowl bonanza.
Super Bowl preview.
Yep, the Philly special guys are coming on, and we will go to battle.
Yeah, we'll probably try and get both of them on. We'll see how that works. I don't know if that's
I think he said only one's available.
Oh, well, never mind then. So we will have one of the Philly guys on, either Eric or Chris, and they will be breaking down this Super Bowl matchup between the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs as they try for the three-peat.
Yes, thank you guys for listening.
We
love you.
Yes.
And I love you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to share some of our stuff. Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.